James Garner is here for more than 50 years. He has remained one of America's most recognizable and respected actors. He began his career in 1954.
In the glamorous world of Hollywood, where celebrities often put on a public facade, it's rare to hear the unfiltered truth about iconic figures like Steve McQueen. Known for his tough guy persona, McQueen was beloved by fans worldwide, but behind the scenes, his relationships with co-stars weren't always as smooth.
McQueen. Crazy McQueen. McQueen and I got along pretty good. McQueen looked at me kind of like an older brother. And he didn't want to have much to do with me till he got in trouble, then he'd call.
One of the men who had first-hand experience with McQueen's behavior on set was the legendary James Garner, known for his kind nature and quick wit. However, even Garner couldn't hold back when it came to critiquing McQueen's behaviors and career. Garner, along with many of McQueen's other co-stars, experienced his eccentricities firsthand, and he didn't mince words when describing what McQueen lacked. How it all began. James Garner. James Garner's journey to fame began in the early 1950s, following his service in the Korean War. After his military service, Garner ventured into acting, initially taking on small roles on Broadway and appearing in television commercials. His early career was marked by hard work and persistence, as he honed his craft in various minor roles before landing a breakthrough opportunity that would define his career. Garner's first acting experience came in 1954 when he joined the cast of a Broadway production of the Caine Mutiny Court-Martial. This role was a pivotal step in his acting journey, giving him the chance to prove his talent on a respected stage. Garner's stage presence helped him secure film roles shortly thereafter. In 1956, he made his movie debut with appearances in Toward the Unknown and The Girl He Left Behind, though these early films did not yet catapult him to stardom. Despite his early appearances in films, it was on television that Garner truly began to shine. In 1957, he landed the role of Brett Maverick in the popular Western TV series Maverick. The show became a major hit, cementing Garner's status as a household name. Playing the charming, quick-witted gambler, Maverick quickly became a beloved character. Garner's performance was praised for its mix of humor and authenticity, and his portrayal helped redefine the Western genre on TV, which until then had been dominated by more stoic, traditional heroes. Maverick's success propelled Garner into the spotlight, making him one of the leading actors of the 1960s. In addition to Maverick, Garner appeared in several noteworthy films, further solidifying his place in Hollywood. He starred in The Thrill of It All, 1963, and Move Over Darling, 1963, showcasing his comedic timing and versatility. His most famous role during this time, however, was in The Great Escape, 1963, where he played a key part in the ensemble cast. The film was a critical and commercial success, and Garner's performance as a W-2 POW proved his range as an actor. James Garner's career continued to thrive, but his early work on Maverick and in these films marked the beginning of a long and successful career in Hollywood. Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen's journey to becoming a Hollywood icon began after he was discharged from the U.S. Marine Corps in 1950, having served for 3 years. Following his time in the military, McQueen found work as a truck driver and mechanic, but his desire to pursue a more creative path led him to New York City. There, he immersed himself in acting studies, enrolling at the renowned Neighborhood Playhouse and the HB Studio, two prestigious institutions known for shaping future stars. McQueen also studied under the legendary Stella Adler, whose teachings on the craft of acting would leave a lasting impact on him. His dedication to his craft paid off when he made his Broadway debut in 1955 in the play A Hatful of Rain, a role that marked his arrival on the professional stage. Though his Broadway career was brief, it proved to be a vital stepping stone as McQueen transitioned into film. In 1956, he made his screen debut in the movie Somebody Up There Likes Me, starring alongside Paul Newman. This marked the beginning of McQueen's transition from stage actor to a rising star in Hollywood. Despite early struggles in the highly competitive entertainment industry, McQueen's tenacity and raw talent eventually garnered attention. His acting training, combined with a strong desire to succeed, helped him stand out in the world of film and television. While he initially worked in smaller television roles, McQueen's powerful on-screen presence quickly earned him leading roles, setting the stage for his rise to fame as one of Hollywood's most iconic action stars. His early years shaped not only his career, but also the tough, charismatic image that would define him throughout his life. The Hollywood nice guy. James Garner, often hailed as Hollywood's nice guy, was known for his unpretentious, likable nature that set him apart from many of his contemporaries. Garner's career spanned decades, with his notable roles in The Rockford Files and The Notebook securing him a place in the hearts of fans. His reputation in the entertainment industry was one of integrity and warmth, and he never sought to stir controversy or grab headlines. Rather than indulge in the gossip and scandals that often engulfed Hollywood, Garner maintained a calm and approachable demeanor, which made him a beloved figure in an industry frequently characterized by drama and ego. What truly made Garner stand out was his ability to navigate the complexities of fame without succumbing to the toxic aspects often associated with it. He wasn't afraid to let his personality shine through in interviews or on-screen performances, but always remained grounded. Despite his success, he stayed humble and easygoing, an anomaly in an industry where many stars would go to great lengths to protect their image. However, this did not mean Garner was afraid to speak his mind when necessary. One of the few times he broke his usual tactful silence was when discussing Steve McQueen, another legendary actor who had a notoriously difficult personality. While McQueen's cool persona and rebellious attitude made him a star, Garner was candid about the challenges of working with him. In interviews, Garner openly criticized McQueen's behavior, acknowledging that the actor's persona often overshadowed his professionalism and strained relationships on set. Garner's frankness highlighted the contrast between the two, revealing the more complicated side of McQueen's legacy, one that, in Garner's eyes, was tarnished by his behavior. McQueen persona. James Garner's candid critique of Steve McQueen's persona as an actor offers a sharp contrast to the Hollywood star's tough guy image. In his description, Garner didn't hold back, comparing McQueen to Marlon Brando, another actor notorious for his difficult on-set behavior. However, Garner made it clear that, unlike Brando, who possessed the acting chops to justify his actions, McQueen's reliance on his public persona came at the expense of his acting depth. Garner's sharpest criticism was reserved for McQueen's lack of versatility. He wasn't an actor. He was a movie star, a poser who cultivated the image of a macho man. McQueen's charm was undeniable. His rugged, rebellious image made him a magnet for audiences, and he quickly became the quintessential tough guy of Hollywood. But Garner's comments struck at the heart of what he saw as McQueen's artistic limitations. While McQueen's cool demeanor made him an iconic figure, Garner argued that it became a crutch. Rather than experimenting with varied roles or demonstrating emotional depth, McQueen leaned into the same persona for each film, playing the same tough, stoic character with little variation. This, Garner believed, prevented McQueen from evolving as an actor and led to a stagnant career. In Garner's eyes, McQueen's failure to transcend his own image was the kiss of death for any actor. The danger in relying solely on a persona is that audiences eventually tire of seeing the same thing over and over. For McQueen, this approach may have made him a legend, but it also limited his true potential as a performer. Garner's words shed light on a deeper truth about acting. It's not enough to be a movie star. The best actors constantly push the boundaries of their craft. The Great Escape. The behind-the-scenes dynamics between James Garner and Steve McQueen during the filming of The Great Escape revealed much about their contrasting personalities and how McQueen's behavior disrupted the production. The film, a World War II classic, brought together a star-studded ensemble with McQueen and Garner playing significant roles. While Garner's professional attitude and easygoing demeanor made him well-liked on set, McQueen's off-screen antics often created tension. McQueen, known for his intense persona, was famously displeased with his role in The Great Escape. He found his character's lack of heroism frustrating and described the part as corny. His dissatisfaction with the script grew to the point of a full-blown meltdown. McQueen, not one to shy away from voicing his displeasure, demanded that changes be made to his character, threatening to leave the project if he didn't receive more screen time and a more prominent role. His frustration stemmed from the fact that his character was not the central hero, as McQueen had come to expect in his Hollywood persona. Garner, a seasoned professional, could have easily written off McQueen's concerns, but instead, he took a different approach. Rather than fueling the tension, Garner chose to address the situation head-on. He sat down with McQueen to discuss the problem, aiming to find a solution that would satisfy his co-star without compromising the integrity of the film. McQueen's primary issue was the lack of action and heroism in his role. Garner, ever diplomatic, worked with the director and the screenwriters to incorporate motorcycle stunts and alter McQueen's character, making him appear more heroic and adventurous. While this compromise allowed the production to move forward, it highlighted McQueen's fragile ego and his reliance on his image. The director's consideration of rewriting the script to make Garner the lead spoke volumes about McQueen's demands and his ability to disrupt the flow of the film. It was clear that McQueen's behavior, while not necessarily malicious, was a constant source of tension on set. Despite the challenges, The Great Escape became a landmark film, yet the behind-the-scenes friction between McQueen and his co-stars, particularly Garner, lingered as part of its legacy. The rivalry. The rivalry between Steve McQueen and Paul Newman became legendary, and their tense interactions during the production of The Towering Inferno in 1974 showcased just how fragile McQueen's ego could be. The disaster movie, which starred both actors as co-leads, was expected to be a major success. However, behind the scenes, McQueen's insecurities and ego clashed with Newman's more laid-back attitude, creating an atmosphere of tension between the two. McQueen, already infamous for his egotistical behavior, was infuriated when he learned that Newman, in his opinion, had more lines in the script, 12 more to be exact. In typical McQueen fashion, the news sent him into a fury. His competitive nature and intense desire for dominance in any role led him to demand that his name be placed first on the film's promotional posters, despite the fact that both he and Newman were billed as equal stars. McQueen, unable to accept the idea of sharing the spotlight, believed that his cool guy persona deserved top billing. The tension quickly escalated, and Newman, no stranger to asserting himself, was not about to let McQueen walk all over him. In a moment of frustration, Newman reportedly called McQueen a chickenzit, a direct jab at McQueen's insecurities and behavior. The situation had reached a boiling point, but eventually the two actors agreed to a compromise. McQueen's name would appear first on the posters, but Newman's would be slightly higher in the credits. The fact that both actors had to go to such extremes to settle the issue of billing highlights just how fragile McQueen's ego truly was. His desperate need for recognition and dominance over his co-stars seemed to overshadow his ability to simply work together as equals. The rivalry between McQueen and Newman became another chapter in the legend of McQueen's complicated relationships with fellow stars, showing how his need for superiority often came at the cost of harmony on set. Not a true actor, Steve McQueen's legacy as the King of Cool is undeniable, but his career also reveals a star who struggled with personal issues and a lack of true acting depth. While he became a Hollywood icon, admired for his rugged image and tough guy persona, his talents as an actor often failed to live up to the expectations set by his fame. James Garner's brutal assessment of McQueen, calling him a movie star, not an actor, offers a glimpse into the underlying truth that many of his co-stars saw through McQueen's polished facade. McQueen's reliance on his image rather than his craft was evident throughout his career. He was undoubtedly charismatic. His cool demeanor and rebellious nature captured the imagination of audiences, but this image often overshadowed his ability to evolve as an actor. His characters, though memorable, tended to be variations of the same persona, the stoic, emotionally distant anti-hero. While this formula worked for McQueen and cemented his status as a box office draw, it became clear to actors like Garner that McQueen was not stretching himself or taking on challenging roles that required a deeper emotional range. Despite his undeniable charm and magnetic screen presence, McQueen's performances were often criticized for being one-dimensional. His reluctance to diversify his roles left him trapped in the mold of the cool action star. McQueen may have been a star in every sense of the word, but he wasn't necessarily a true actor in the same way that his peers like Garner were able to show emotional depth and versatility. Garner's frank assessment highlights the fundamental difference between being a star and being a genuine actor capable of pushing the boundaries of their craft. James Garner's sharp criticism of Steve McQueen, "He wasn't an actor, he was a poser," was a searing indictment of the man who became known as Hollywood's king of cool. This four-word description encapsulated Garner's opinion of McQueen, who, despite his status as an icon of rebellion and toughness, struggled with the depth of acting required to sustain his career in the long term. While McQueen had undeniable charisma and was the poster child for the cool, brooding anti-hero, Garner's words highlighted the fact that McQueen was more invested in his tough guy persona than in cultivating true acting craft. Garner's comments were not simply an offhand remark, but reflected his personal experiences working with McQueen, particularly during the filming of The Great Escape, 1963. McQueen's behavior on set was famously difficult. His inflated ego and constant need for validation led to a series of tantrums and demands that disrupted the production. McQueen's most infamous demand was for more screen time after he noticed that his character was off-screen for a 30-minute stretch of the film. Feeling slighted, McQueen threatened to walk off the set unless changes were made to increase his role. The film's director, John Sturges, considered writing McQueen's character out completely, but studio pressure prevented that from happening. McQueen ultimately got what he wanted, but this incident revealed how much of his focus was on his image rather than on delivering a nuanced performance. Garner, who had previously worked with McQueen on The Magnificent Seven, 1960, knew how to handle difficult co-stars. However, even his usually even-tempered approach was tested by McQueen's antics. The two actors had shared several scenes in The Great Escape, but while Garner mingled and formed strong bonds with his co-stars, McQueen remained distant, refusing to interact with the rest of the cast. Instead, McQueen secluded himself, staying at a private chalet and being chauffeured to the set in a Rolls-Royce, behavior that exemplified his sense of entitlement and separation from the ensemble. This need for special treatment was also apparent in McQueen's personal insistence on incorporating his love of motorbikes into The Great Escape. Despite the fact that no motorcycles were involved in the actual events of the 1-2 Stalag Luft 3 prison break, McQueen demanded that his character be shown riding a motorcycle, as he wanted to showcase his skill in the sport. This was emblematic of his tendency to push for changes to suit his image rather than the needs of the film. It was clear that McQueen saw himself not just as an actor, but as a brand that needed to be maintained at all costs, even at the expense of his professionalism. But McQueen's ego wasn't limited to just The Great Escape. His on-set conflicts extended to other major productions, including The Magnificent Seven and The Towering Inferno, 1974. One of the most notorious incidents was his rivalry with Paul Newman during the filming of The Towering Inferno. Both men were established Hollywood stars, and the two became embroiled in a bitter battle over billing. Initially, McQueen was billed first in the movie's trailer, but Newman's name was placed higher in the final credits. This imbalance led to a public squabble, with McQueen demanding top billing over Newman, a situation that led to further friction between the two. McQueen's need to maintain his star power was clear, but it was also a reminder of how fragile his sense of self-worth could be. The incident left a sour taste in the mouths of many involved, and it was a reflection of McQueen's inability to evolve beyond his cool guy image into a true thespian. Hollywood's reaction to these public spats and McQueen's behavior was mixed. On the one hand, McQueen was still the quintessential movie star. His films brought in large audiences, and his name on a marquee guaranteed success at the box office. His persona as the rebellious anti-hero, which had its roots in Bullitt, 1968, and The Great Escape, was inextricable from his popularity. McQueen was an undeniable force in Hollywood, and his popularity was only heightened by his private life, which added to his mystique. His relationships with women, his time in the military, and his personal struggles contributed to the rough-and-tumble image that endeared him to fans. However, behind the scenes, McQueen's lack of focus on honing his craft did not go unnoticed. His inability to take direction, his clashes with co-stars, and his obsession with maintaining an image eventually alienated many of those who worked with him. As Garner's comments suggested, McQueen's acting range was limited, and his fame was as much about his off-screen persona as it was about his performances. While he did occasionally show flashes of depth in his roles, such as in The Sand Pebbles, 1966, his career was more defined by his status as a cultural icon rather than by his ability to transform into complex characters. The impact of Garner's criticism had a ripple effect in Hollywood. While McQueen's star never truly dimmed, the comments from a respected actor like Garner forced some to reconsider the true cost of McQueen's fame. Those who had worked with McQueen began to see the limitations of his approach, and Hollywood insiders began to recognize that McQueen's reliance on his image and star power, rather than his acting ability, was ultimately a hindrance to his full potential as an actor. In the end, McQueen remained a beloved figure, but his place among the true greats of Hollywood was forever tarnished by his unwillingness to evolve as an artist. James Garner's bold critique of Steve McQueen reveals the truth behind the King of Cool persona. If you found this insight eye-opening, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories about Hollywood legends. Don't miss out on more exclusive content. Hit that notification bell.